Close that out. All right, welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear Review. This is a live show episode. I did not advertise this one, but we're going to go with this anyway. And I'm going to go through the collection. This was something I was meaning to do back in February, February, more likely February. I haven't gone through the collection that I have right now. And one of the things I think I have found is that the watches I have, I've narrowed it down to I actually like these watches. Some I like more than others. Some are like, these are the top 5, these are the top 2, top 10, whatever. And then you've got the bottom tier. These are the bottom 10, the bottom 15, whatever it is in the collection. So I do have favorites. I do have favorites. But we're going to go through the collection. Now we're going to break this up because there's a lot of watches to go through. And the overwhelming majority of these watches will not be here in a month. I'm going to go through and call about 75% of these watches, one way or the other, they're going to disappear. I've been giving away some to some friends. I've been giving away some to some people that I know or some acquaintances that are like, hey, you want a watch? And they're like, yeah, you got a cool watch. So I give them a watch or two. And so I've gone through some of the ones that I really don't like, but other people like. And so I've kind of gotten through all that. And now I'm down to the watches that these are the hard ones for me to get rid of. But that's going to happen in the very near future. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through the whole collection. I've got the whole kit and caboodle out here. We're going to start off with the Casios because the Casios, for some watch enthusiasts, they don't consider them as being part of the collection. I do. And as a matter of fact, in the last few months, I've kind of gone on a Casio binge. So if there's anybody else out there that loves Casios, I'm one of those folks that has kind of come back to Casio. You know what? It's so much easier to wear a Casio. And so I've done that the past couple of months. Now, I do have some Casios that are just not quite my favorites, but the rest of them I pretty much really like. I've got a few of them that are nostalgic pieces that are kind of collector pieces. So we'll go through those. And I'm going to break this up into some other segments too. I'm going to insert some other minor things that I've got going on. Pens. Where am I at with pens? I know this is not a pen episode or a pen channel, but I have come to like fountain pens, and I use them almost exclusively for everything that I write. And I have refillable cartridges that I refill, and so I have a particular ink that I really like. Pretty straightforward. I'm not geeking out over pens, but I'm just going to show you what I have for pens. I also have a handful of flashlights. I want to talk about those flashlights because I've been meaning to do this for like 5 or 6 months. And it's these multi-purpose lights, and I love them. I have at least one of them with me when I travel all the time. I'm going to talk about another segment break is going to be what do I carry with me when I travel. And I'm not going to get into the personal protection stuff because that's a whole nother thing. Plus, on live, I'm not supposed to handle firearms and that anyway. So anyway, so there you go. But I'll talk to you about what do I carry with me when I go on a trip. And I've been doing a lot more traveling. I've sold my lawn business. If you haven't been following the channel much lately, I sold the lawn business, so I don't have access to some of that rough and tumble type testing that I used to have access to when it came to doing landscape work and shrub work and lawn mowing, things like that. So my testing has kind of gotten soft, kind of like a middle-aged man type testing pool. So we're gonna go through some of those things today. I'm gonna have those breaks, and also I have one more thing I want to talk about, and that's Bibles. Yes, I'm a born-again Christian. And I want to talk about, I recently purchased 2 Bibles, and I spent a lot of time researching what Bibles am I going to get. I have 3 different translations. And by the way, translations does not mean it's the telephone game where you have one translation, another translation, and finally you get the Bible. No, these are translations directly from the Greek or the Hebrew. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that too as well. All right. Thank you. Yes. Nice to see you guys. Navarro, nice to see you, saying hi. Appreciate it. I will check. I'll put my glasses on. I'm going to be 55 this year, so I'm going to put my readers on and check out the comments as well. So please be patient with me in the comments. I don't normally do live episodes off of my phone, but I'm going to do it this way because of just the location of where I'm at in my house. Usually I do it on a computer so I can actually see the comments that are on the screen, and it works out a little bit better, and I can type in with a computer. So I'm not going to be able to respond back, but I will try to catch people as they join in. So we're going to go through Casios. Then we're going to go through Quartz watches, as many as I can remember. And then we'll end with the mechanical watches. And I'll throw in there, like, these are the watches that I'm going to try to have my favorite of the favorites towards the end. of each of those watch segments. We'll break up each watch segment because the Casios, it's a lot of watches. We'll break that up with, like I said, pens or flashlights. And I also have flashlights for keychains. I love keychain flashlights. Actually, I use the Keychain flashlight a lot. I don't know if anybody else out there uses them a lot. We'll get to that point in the video. Let's talk about Keychain flashlights because I think they're super important. And when I travel, I do a lot of flying now, consulting with school districts and helping them with things and training and things like that. So let's get started. And let's start with Casios. We're going to flip this around. All right, a little tabletop here. Now, these are the watches that I'm not as huge of a fan of. They really, I don't know. I have them more or less as a collection item. And the first one up is, what is this one? The DW290, the Mission Impossible watch. Not a huge fan of the Mission Impossible watch. I don't know. A lot of people out there are liking. Now, Mission Impossible just came out with a movie, and yeah, it's one of those watches that you have it because it was in the movie, the first Mission Impossible. I don't think it was in the second one, but I know it was in the first one. It has a couple of unique features. It has a flashing light when it comes to the timer or the alarm, so it lets you know with a flashing light if you're looking at the watch when you happen to have the alarm go off. But overall, it's kind of a unique design. I'm not a fan of the design itself. It just has that, I don't know, hexagonal look to it that just doesn't stick with me very well. But it's one of those watches that, yeah, it's okay. I have in the collection because it's a legendary watch. And that's pretty much it. I also have the F91. I'm not going to bring it out. I have it in my suitcase. I use that as my alarm clock. I got that advice from some viewer a year plus ago, maybe 2 years ago. Use the F91 as a secondary alarm clock. So I do that. I don't ever wear it because I can't stand it. But I do have it. Now, this is the W217. If I remember right, go double check. I haven't been around these watches a lot. I've been doing a lot of work with my other job, but the W217 is really the better option when it comes to the F91. It's a much bigger screen, better light, and it's pretty much the same functionality. You go through the same modes as the F91. It's just overall bigger, much more legible. And for me, with reading glasses, I like the W217. Now this one, I forget the model number of this one. This one is the WS1700. It's just too segmented. You guys have heard me say this over and again. This is the moon phase, tide graph, all that good stuff for fishing, outdoor stuff, which is kind of helpful. It can be good. It does have that fitted strap, which I'm not a huge fan of. And the height on it is pretty tall. And not a huge fan of the WS1700. But it'll go. I'll take it. It's kind of at the bottom of my list when it comes to wearable. I haven't worn it in a long time, probably because I have other Casios that are favorites. We'll just keep that one there for now. Now, this is where things get, I don't have a huge distinction. I've got a couple more that I'll go through that I'm not just, head over heels over. And this is the AE, what is this one? The AE 1500. And it's too smartwatch looking for me. I've kind of gotten to the point of it's super legible. This is probably the most legible Casio that's out there. But the AE, well, I almost forgot it again. The AE 1500. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. The WS 1700, they both have a very similar case to them, kind of tall off the wrist. But the legibility is off the charts. So if you're looking for a Casio that's off the charts, awesome. 10-year battery. I think this one is 100 meters of water resistance. You get a lot of bang for the buck. I mean, this is really a big watch when it comes down to it. Here is the square. Let's pull the square next to it. Use that as a comparison. And you can see that when you put the square next to the AE 1500, get these on the wrist here. The size difference is huge. The legibility difference is massive, So there's no doubt. If you're looking for a watch with high legibility, 100 meters of water resistance, a 10-year battery, very cheap watch, less than $40, you can't go wrong with this watch. You really can't. The strap on this, I think Jim Kincaid over his channel, I think there's an extra long strap that you can get for this. Like when you buy it, it'll say it has an extra long strap. If I remember right, Jim, if you're on the live stream or anybody else don't know, I think you can get this one with an extra large strap for those with the supersize wrist, McDonald's and the supersize. Okay, so this is probably the last one of the bunch. And I'll say that and I'll come across something else that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm going through all my Casios. I got a fistful of Casios going on over here, and the rest I think are pretty good. This one is the DW291, and this was given to me by Paul Whaley over at his channel. And yeah, it's kind of grown on me. I did not like it because it has that Battlestar Galactica look to it when it comes to the pushers and the, I don't know, the grommet type thing over here. It just kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't. But at the same time, it's kind of got this gold tint to it. Legibility is actually pretty good. I don't mind the legibility on this one. If you put it next to the square and you look at the legibility, it's pretty dang good. So the 291, 200 meters of water resistance, they call this one the non-G-Shock. This is close to a G-Shock without being one that you'll get. Day date up here at the top. You've got the crazy, I think this is the dual time, waste of space. I can't hardly read it with my glasses on. Like, you have to study it to figure out what the secondary time is. Classic, I'm not going to go through all the functions on it, but the classic Casio functions. I'll hit the functions I think that are important. But overall, the light, pretty good. Amber light on the bottom. So those are it. Those are the ones that I'm not a huge fan of. All right, so let's assemble the next posse of watches, and we'll finish up with the ones I wear the most. Now, I've started out, this is going to be fun, because I've started out passionately about some watches, and over time, it has changed. And I think anybody who's collected watches will agree that over time you start to lose some love interest with some of your watches. And for me, that has been the case. There's a couple here that, all right, we'll get some of these guys up front. All right, let's start off with, this is the Jet. This is the F201. Now the F201 is, I think, one of the better looking watches out there. I really like the looks of it. I like the profile of it. It's not a chunky watch. It has all your basic functions. And the alarm on here you can program to a particular date, which is awesome. So this watch has, I think, some really good functions to it, the alarm being one of them. And I think that's a huge, huge advantage when you can program to a specific date. And the reason being is when I'm traveling, let's say I'm traveling and I've got like 4 days in a different city, and I want to wake up at a specific time because I've got a meeting really early in the morning, but it's on a specific date. Well, if I have the typical Casio, I have to wait until I'm within the 24-hour window to set the alarm, or set the alarm and remember to turn it on. Either way, I have to remember to do that. Or I can program the date into this watch. And this watch I can program, skipped over it. I can program the date into this watch so that the alarm will go off on a specific date of the month. So to me, that's a great travel watch feature. And so the 201 is a awesome travel companion. Very simple. Water resistance is just barely water resistant, but Casio wise, definitely you can get it wet, splash on it. Not a big deal. But that's one. Now, the one that I like better than that one is this one. This is, I just did a review on this one a couple months ago, the W96. This is one, I like the looks of this one a little bit better. It's a little bit bigger. It's one that, yeah, Pablo, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, the 291 both have these G-Shock style straps. Yeah, some people do not like the G-Shock style straps because it's just too form-fitting. If you have a little more flexibility with the strap, it just fits tighter on the wrist, especially for the small wristers out there. I'm going to steal a Kincaidism there and call it a small wrister. And Jim and I, he's got some great phrases. The watch crotch is one of my favorite ones. I was laughing so hard when I heard him talk about the watch crotch. That's the distance between a form-fitted strap. When you have an F201 like this, you don't have to worry about the watch crotch. This is like doing the splits, okay? You've torn every single groin muscle and tendon in there. All right. So anyway, the W96, right? Yeah, the W96. I like the looks of this one better. A lot of good features on this one. And I went through and I hacked the timer function on here because this module is the same. It's like one module different from the W800. Let's get them up here together. I lost some of the lines on here when I did the mod on this one. I lost some of the differentiating lines between the date, the time, and all that. but it's basically the same module. Okay. And so I went and hacked it out and I got the timer function in here. So I really, really like this watch. And it also has a repeat timer on here. You have to turn that repeat function on and off while the timer mode is in the set position. That's when you can turn off the repeat function. But both of these have been hacked so that they both have the timer function on it. And you can see, other than some of the lines that separate them, it's the same module. And yeah, I lost a little bit of the looks of it with the differentiating lines being taken out of the W96. So I like the looks of the W96. I love the water resistance of I call this the Gray Man watch. This is a fantastic watch. And this is a watch that I have the W200. Let's see, where is it at? I have that strap on here. Here it is. So if you're like, hey, wait a minute, that strap doesn't look like the typical strap on the W800. No, it came off of this, which is the 200. I call this one the Magpie because in Montana we have Magpies, they're black and white. And that's the MRW 200. So I took the strap off of one of these because I tried to do an oil mod on one of these watches. Didn't work out so well. And so I took the strap and put it on my Gray Man. And I love it. It's a great, great strap. It has the ratcheting piece on the back here, which keeps that keeper from moving around real easily. So for me, I love that because I don't like the tag end just sticking out like this while you're wearing it, catching on stuff. So the Gray Man, it's one of my favorite watches. I don't wear it a lot, particularly because I don't have my lawn business anymore. This was the watch I used to wear to do shrub work and things like that. Yeah, W800 was your introduction. Yeah, this is a great watch. You really can't beat it for everything that's on it. I think this is a better value than that 291. The 291, 200 meters of water resistance, great. 100 meters of water resistance is plenty. I think you just get a little bit more bang for the buck versus the 291. The 291, yeah, cool watch, but the W800, or I call it the Gray Man watch is phenomenal. And I know a buddy of mine out in South Africa out there, Johan, he's got the Gray Man as well. It comes in different colors. It's all good. All right, let's move on to some classics. These are watches that I have because I just love the classics, whether it's a classic look or it's a collectible. Let's move some of these up here. And there's actually a watch I don't hardly ever wear at all because it's more of just nostalgic purposes only. But I'm going to go through, I'll end with this one. This is going to be awesome. All right, let's go through some of the classics. This one is, and I forget the classic numbers on these, the CHD 40. And this is the CHD 40 right here. This is the one that has the infrared sensor / emitter on the top. I say sensor because this is a learning remote control. If you have another remote control that you want to put some of the functions into this watch and memorize them, you can do that. It has a learn function on it. Typical calculator watch. Let's see, calculator. It has the alarm, stopwatch. That's pretty much it. Okay, but it has your functions over here. You can control a VCR. For those of you that don't know what a VCR is, it is the cassette tape version of videos that was back in the 70s and 80s. Anyway, you can control TVs on here. I can control the TV in my room here with this watch, which is pretty cool. And what else is there? It's just a classic looking watch. I get more questions when I wear this watch. This is a watch that generate a lot of questions. What is that? Is that a Casio? And they're like, what are the buttons over here for? And I'm like, I can turn off the TV, turn up the volume, change channels, and I can designate these buttons as other functions because there is a mode. If you look at the center bar, there's a center bar. Press that. There we go. Julian, nice to see you. There's a center bar that reformats the buttons. So I've got 3 options. Okay. So yeah, the 40, the CHD, I think it's the CHD 40, isn't it? CMD 40. The CMD 40 is one of my favorite watches when I want to wear something that will just like generate questions by people. So that one is one. Let's go to another classic. This is the calculator watch. This is the CA50, the Back to the Future watch. And I have it because I love the Back to the Future watch. This was the watch that started it all, in my opinion. The little Casio calculator watch, very straightforward. No light. It's the only downside to this watch. Otherwise, I love the compactness. It has the calculator function on there. It has all the goodies that you want on there. It's not anything special. It could be a little bit more legible. I think the digits for the time could be a little bit more bolded. They're just not bolded enough, in my opinion. But it's, this reaches back into the 80s, and this watch is super thin. Now, because it's a calculator watch, this is not even like splash resistant. So you really genuinely have to be careful with this watch. Some people say, "Oh, I splash on, no problem. I'm okay, fine." And if I do splash on it, what I do is I shake it out with the keypad pointed down to try to get the moisture away from the rest of the watch. But I really am very cautious with any calculator watch that I have on my wrist. One of them, the DB32, I've actually worn it in the shower by accident, but the CA50, classic calculator watch. Here's the one that I just don't wear much at all. This is the one I had when I was in junior high. So back in the mid 80s, 85, I think it was, the DBC 611. Now, the reason I love this one, the CA50 was out, but then you look at the DBC, what did I say this was? 611. The DBC 611, I was like, oh, look at that keypad. It's so smooth. And the time, look at all the functions you have in the time. It has a light, it's a little bit bigger, kind of cooler looking. It has a metal band to it, which, by the way, I love the adjustability of the buckle on here. You pop this part up and you can slide this up and down, push it down and lock it in. Super easy. And I love the adjustability of these Casio metal bands like this. One of my favorite designs, actually. But that's why I chose the DBC 611, was just, it had this cooler look to it. It has this 80s, this is like Back to the Future. If there's Back to the Future, this to me looks more like Back to the Future. The DeLorean that he was driving, Marty McFly was driving. This brings me back to the 80s. And of course, this is the watch that Marty McFly was wearing in the movie. That's Michael J. Fox, the actor. But this is the one, I don't wear it much. It's kind of a harder watch to read, and I don't like the buttons on here anymore. I think this was a fad that I was going through. But they're a little bit harder to press because you don't have the tactile location. Like with these, you can absolutely feel it on your fingertip what button you're pressing. And with this one, you have to press right in the center. And I've seen a lot of these older versions that are actually from the 80s, and that keypad is so pressed in and worn out. There's like a clear coat that goes over the buttons here that can wear out. So anyway, I just have that one for nostalgic purposes. The DBC 32, let's get the other one out here. I'm going to pause on this one for a little bit because this is the watch I always have with me when I'm traveling. Always. I have over 25 phone numbers in here that are emergency phone numbers. So when I go on a trip out of town, significantly out of town, like I'm leaving my county, let's just say, if I'm leaving county, I have this watch either on me, like I'm wearing it, or I'll have it in the car in the center console, or I'll have it in the bag with me. I always have it with me because I have my insurance carrier phone number in there, my bank, all the credit cards, I have their phone numbers in there, relatives, people that I'm going to be nearby. If I'm heading, several states away, I'll put their phone numbers in here in case my phone breaks down or breaks. Then I still have phone numbers because I don't know if anybody's like me. I have no longer memorized any phone numbers anymore. I just go completely off of the phone. But if that phone breaks, I have no phone numbers. And so this data bank holds the most important phone numbers that I need. My wife's phone number is in here. All my boys' phone numbers are in there. Like I said, insurance. If I go out of country, I'm going to put the embassy number in here. I'm going to put local law enforcement phone numbers in here. It's a huge advantage, huge advantage. And the light on this one is phenomenal. And this one also has the auto light function so that when you tip it, the light turns on by itself, which I love that feature, especially when it's like 7 o'clock at night. You just hold the light function down and it stays as an auto light function for 6 hours. It has a 10-year battery. And like I said, this is the one I wore in the shower accidentally. Nothing happened. This keypad is fairly water resistant and the buttons on here are not too bad. So I have much less concern over that calculator watch than I do the CA30 or the CMB40. These two watches I'm very concerned with when it comes to moisture. So even if it's raining outside, I generally have to, it's like I got to keep an eye on that because I don't pay attention. Once I'm outside doing stuff, I forget what I'm wearing as far as my watch goes. So those are some things to keep in mind. But this is a staple when I'm traveling. I always have this watch. So if there's one watch that gets the most attention, it's probably this watch. When I was gone for 2 weeks, and this is one of the reasons why I haven't been on YouTube as much in the past month, this is the watch I was wearing when I was traveling. We get in the car to travel from state to state. I put this watch on, or it'd be right next to me in the console in the car. So I had that those information, those phone numbers with me. It also does currency exchanges if you're out of country, super fast, calculator function, alarm, which is super easy to set up. So when I do the alarm, you type everything in. You type in the time, you type in the day and the date, and that means that alarm goes only goes on for that date. If you take the date off, then it goes off at that time every single day. Or you can have a specific date, but not the month, and it goes off on that date every month. So there's a lot of variations with it. And also you have several, let's see here, that's turning everything on. We'll turn that off. Let's see. Oh, I missed it again. Let's see here. There's several different alarms. So there are 5 alarms. And there's your hourly signal. Yeah. So you can program 5 different alarms into this watch. Okay. I have a bracelet on here. It does not have the typical Casio strap. I love this bracelet. I got this off of AliExpress. Just a real simple beads of rice type bracelet. I think it kind of adds a little class to the watch. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of bracelets when it comes to Casios. I like the adjustability when things get hot and my wrist starts to swell up or shrinks down, whatever. I can adjust it with the Casio straps. But this one seems to work out well, and it fits nice. And it's also quick release. So there's the lug on here for the quick release. So I can change that out pretty quick. So there's the Casio calculator watches. Let's move into some of these other ones. We'll get into oh yeah, this is one. When I watch other people's videos or I watch the video shorts that are out there, the GAB 2100. I should have had this earlier in this section because I'm not a fan of this watch, mostly because it's really an analog watch. When you look at the digital readout on here, it is so bad. I'm going to go through the modes here. There's the dual time. There's the stopwatch, right? So there I'm running it. Okay, have a hard time reading it. And let's see here, reset, get out of there. It has a timer function, alarm function, also has a memo. It'll send messages, like this is Bluetooth. So I can use my phone to type in a memo. And that memo can be sent to this phone or to this watch through the phone. And I'll see a little message go across here, but I only see like 5 letters at a time as it scrolls across. Not a fan of it. Now, it's a cool looking analog watch. I love the look of this watch. I love the red indicator over here for the function that you're in. You can see that move around as you go from mode to mode. You see that? There you go. Okay. The handset differentiates really well against the background. So it's a nice analog watch, and it has all of the digital functions of a typical Casio, but the display is just horrid. Absolutely horrid. And some people defend and say, oh, no, it's not that bad. It's like, no, you're lying. Matter of fact, one guy was telling me, oh, yeah, I have my glasses on. I can read it just fine. I'm like, dude, take your glasses off. There are other Casios out there that do a much better job with their displays. That is definitely not one of them. All right, now we're going to move into, let's see here. These are the watches that I like. I wear frequently, not real frequently, but I wear them. Let's see here. What do we got here? Ooh. Yeah. Okay, we got a couple more classics I want to get into. Okay, let's do a couple more classics and then we'll get in, and then we'll take a break. Classic looks. Oh, I've got a handful of classic looks here. And I got to end with this one. All right. I haven't done a review on that one. Here we go. The 158. I think this is the A158. I'm sorry, the A168. The A158, I can't stand it. The A158 is the F91 version that looks like this, but it has the F91 module in here. It has the piece of crap light that goes with it. The F91 is garbage when it comes to function and actual usability. The A158 is the metal version of it. This is the A168, okay? A168. And this one, I love it. It's a little bit bigger. The light is far better. It has the same basic functions as the F91, okay? But where's the light? Here it is. It has the electroluminescent light, so the entire display lights up. It is superior to the A158. So if you're looking at the A158, if you're a fan of it, try the A168. If you haven't tried the F91 or the A158, you got to go A168. This is the one to get. Okay, this is the classic F91 with a little better upgrades on the light. And of course, I love, again, this buckle system they have on these metal bracelets or straps. They're super easy to adjust. You can pretty much adjust this with any small screwdriver, anything that you can kind of get the tip of this underneath here and just pop that thing up, and you can slide this bracket up and down on the bracelet. A168, highly, 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 highly recommended. This watch is going to stay with me for a long time. I love wearing this watch. This also gets compliments because people recognize the Casio look. Yeah, the A168 is a little bit bigger than the A158, Pablo. Yep. So yeah, this is the one to get as far as I'm concerned. Now, with about 3 times as much money, you can get the, what is this? Is the ABL 100. This is a Japanese market watch. The ABL, I got to turn it on here. The ABL 100. This has a step tracker. This is a fantastic, it's Bluetooth. I'm not opposed to Bluetooth when you can do all of the setting and everything on the watch. If the Bluetooth functions are only on the phone, then I have a problem with it. I'm not a fan of it. But if I can get this to do all the adjusting on the watch itself, I'm a huge fan of it. I love this watch. I love the look of it. I love the bracelet. You get all of this kind of reflective light off of the bracelet, which I think is super cool. You got that adjustable buckle there. The light on here is phenomenal. It's that amber light, works really well. It's not as legible as I'd like. You know, when you look at the A168 versus the ABL 100, yeah, the 168 is better in that sense, but I just love the look of it. It's a little bit, they're about the same thickness. Maybe it might be a little bit thinner than the A168. Water resistance for both of these is just water resistant, which in my opinion with these classic watches, definitely splash proof, definitely up to 30 meters of water resistance. I don't have any problem wearing it in the shower. People say, oh, the shower, the steam and all that can get inside there. I've never had that happen, ever. So as far as water resistance go, for these kinds of watches, I wear these in the shower. It cleans them off. It's like a car wash for the watch. So it cleans them all off really well. Now, 2 more. We've got, 3 more. 4 more. Dang. All right. So we have the pulsometer. I just did a review. In my mind, it was not that long ago, but I haven't been online for a while. The JP100. This is a working pulsometer. And the way it works is you press the pulse button, the JP100W. Press the pulsometer button, and then you put your finger on here, and you'll see that bar moving back and forth. You don't want to press down too hard. It's kind of the Goldilocks zone. You want it just firm enough to where it starts to catch the beat of your pulse. Okay, and then turn that off, and we can go through. This is the jog function. Whoops. Here's the jog function. I'm sorry. This is the alarm. There's the jog function. And this is kind of cool because as you have intervals set up, you stop and you take your pulse. So back in the 80s, this was like the original fitness watch. As you were running, the alarm would go off, and my alarm's not working. I think I'm missing a spring in the case back. But the alarm would go off, and then you'd take your pulse to see what your pulse is. And it would record it. And you'd go through and you get that information at the end. You could see what your fitness level would be with that in mind. We have the alarm, we have a timer, and we also have the stopwatch. Very much a fitness watch, no dual time. Yeah, it's really the original fitness watch for Casio. So this is the JP100W, classic looking watch. When I wear this one gets a lot of questions like, what is that? These 2 watches right here are phenomenal conversation starters because people didn't realize, or they don't remember, especially if they're a lot younger, they don't remember these watches being made, and that Casio was making these watches in the 80s and 90s. 30 years ago, they were doing this stuff, which is phenomenal. I remember the CMD 40. I remember this watch. I remember you could control things with this. And so when I saw this on eBay, I was like, oh, that is my childhood coming back to me. But I never saw this. I remember seeing ads for it that had a pulsometer on there. I never was into it. Your start and stop buttons for your stopwatch are up here, top and bottom, so it's pretty cool that way. No light, kind of like the CA50, the calculator watch. So some limitations that way as far as a classic watch goes. Here's another data bank. This is kind of your classic looking data bank. I'm going to leave it on here. This one I purchased. It came with this whole setup, original tag, the DB-E30 data bank. So this is a little more cumbersome to set the data inside here. And so when you're doing the data entry on this one, it's a little bit more involved as far as you keep pressing the buttons to get your letters and you move through. But it has that more classic Casio 1990s look to it. And this is brand new. And as far as I know, never been worn. I haven't worn it. I think I had it just sitting out. I took it off the stand here for the review, and I did the review on it. But man, I got a lot of dust on here. But anyway, this is a watch that is a data bank. So it has the data bank. It has the calculator. I'm sorry, not calculator, data bank. It has the alarm function, stopwatch, timer, all that good stuff. This is also solar powered. So on top up here, you can see the solar panels. So that's really cool too. It's a solar powered data bank. Solar power everything, Casio. Put that stuff on everything and give us a break from the batteries. So that's another classic watch. And to finish it off, officially finish. No, I got one more. Now this is the one, I just picked this up. This is new in the box. And this is the ABC, what is this? The ABC 100. I forget what this one, the actual, I can't take it out of the case just yet. Or the ABC 30 maybe. I forget what the model number is. It's ABC something. But this is the dual time, 2 different times. So the crown on the right here sets the analog watch, and then you have all of the Casio functions on the left. It has your data bank, has your calculator function down here. I just have to put a battery in this one, and I'm gonna get it up and running. My original one that I have, which has that different strap on here, which I actually really like the looks of, I tried to change the battery on it and I totally destroyed the watch. So I had to go find another one, and I found this one new in the box, new in its case. And I thought, ooh, I may just hang on to this one. I'm a little afraid to put the battery in, but I think I'm gonna do it because I want to wear it. I love this. I love the look of this watch. This is another one of those Casios that's like, oh, that is a cool looking Casio. Vintage. I think this is early 1990s, maybe late 1990s. I forget which end of the 90s it was. All right, there's that second to last one. Here's the final one. This is the one I wear the most. The IRW 100. I love the look of this one. As far as classic Casios go, this is it. Love it. This is radio controlled. So this has the atomic timekeeping. It also is tough solar. I don't know if they called it tough solar then, but it has the wave scepter, they call it. It's the wave scepter, and it has the solar cells on it. So this one is a fantastic, I love the look of this. All of the controls are on the right-hand side. So when I want to go through by functions, basic functions, but look at the legibility. I mean, it's phenomenal. Electroluminescent light. Okay, so turn that back on. Electroluminescent light. Look at the legibility of that. Just a classic, beautiful looking Casio. This is my favorite vintage Casio. I would get rid of most everything else except for this one. This one, the IRW 100. I highly, highly recommend this. Solar, wave scepter. I put it in the windowsill, charge it up, gets the updated time, and you go. Now this is, I'm almost 100% sure this is not the original strap, but I love the look of the strap. It has that 90s look to it, okay? But I can get into this one. A lot of polish on here. I wore this one out in Washington, D.C. multiple days. I love this watch. So this is one of the watches I will bring just because it's an easy watch to use, easy one to wear, low profile, nothing really big about this watch, and just kind of a classic look. some people are like, I don't like the rectangle look. I kind of like the rectangle look. That's why I kind of go back to the, where was the W96 was one of them. Let's see, where did I put it? The W96, where'd you go, buddy? It's kind of the F201. That's not it. Dang, here it is. You know, you can kind of see this is kind of my style. I kind of like these rectangular looks. Yeah, and even the F201 has a little bit of a squared off rectangular look to it. So the IRW 100, my favorite classic Casio of all time. All right, break time. We're going to stop with the Casios. We're going to take a break with the Casios. We're going to come back to them in here in just a second. Get into the outdoor watches, things like that. I want to talk a little bit about keychain lights. Now, keychain lights. We'll bring out the ones that I use the most. And here we go. These are the three that I use the most. Okay. The Fenix, I have this one on my computer bag. So I put this on the outside strap. And so I always have it with my computer bag. Again, traveling wise, hotels, when you're traveling around airplanes. So I have this with me on the airplane. Something goes dark in the airplane, I've got a flashlight that's significant, okay? And I save the power on my phone. If you have these disasters, you know, you want to save the power on your phone and you want to go with something that, you know, its own power source for its own light. This is another one that I have. This is the Nightcore Tiny 2 or Teeny 2. Another great one. I'll say this though, I have had this turn on in my pocket multiple times. So this button that you hold down, okay? It's this button maybe. I forget. Now it won't go on. Let's see. It goes on in my pocket accidentally. And I'm not a fan of that, okay? For some reason, this one does that. The one that I love the most is the Lumentop Frog 2.0. I love this little light, okay? And I rarely have this one go off in my pocket. I don't have it locked out because it rarely goes off in my pocket anyway. The charging mechanism on this one though is not pleasant because you take the cap off the back and you have to put a different cap on here that plugs a USB-C in here to charge the flashlight. So I'm not a fan of that. You got to carry another part with you when you go out. But this has 600 lumens, which is phenomenal. And it does light up the day or nighttime. So it is, you go through the different levels. Yeah. Love it. Okay. Very simple, very easy. And as far as size go, which one do I prefer like to have in the pocket? Definitely the Lumentop Frog. Okay. I prefer that one. And I think I maybe go away from the Nightcore Teeny 2. They do have a Nightcore Teeny 3 out there. I'm going to try it and see what it looks like. But when it comes to flashlights for carrying in the pocket, absolutely love the Frog. Absolutely, highly recommend it. You can get a tube extension and put a larger battery in here. Of course, it makes it a little bit longer, but you also get longer runtime. So if you don't like the short runtime, the battery on this, check out the size of the battery. Battery is not that big at all. That's the size of the battery. Okay. Maybe an inch, 3/4 of an inch in length. And there's a number on the battery, but yeah, love these pocket flashlights. I think the pocket flashlight's the way to go. I have another one of these. It is a, I think it's an O light maybe, really small twist end on it. And I have that on my carry-on luggage and I have it in a little pocket, side pocket there as well. I have flashlights everywhere because honestly, like the night is at least a third, if not half the day. So if you're in a place that you're not familiar with, a light is super helpful. Thank you, Pablo. Yeah, you bet. Casio videos. I love doing the Casio videos. And Julian, the Anti-Digi watch or the Anti-Digi calculator. Yeah, that ABC, I think it's the ABC 30. Let me pull that back up here again. If you see one of these out there, snap it up. It is a beautiful watch. And I've got a different bracelet on here. And it's, I'll go pull it up here. Hang on one sec. So this is what it looks like with that different bracelet on there. I just like the looks of that different bracelet. It adds a little little something. It brings out the kind of more metallic looking part on the watch when you have that in the bracelet. Okay. And I have no idea where this bracelet came from. The watch came to me from eBay looking like this. And of course, the battery died. I went in there to try to change the battery, totally destroyed the insides. But hey, Johan. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the prayers, brother. Pray for this week. This week's the big one. But the keypad and everything else is kind of that smooth keypad. When you go to eBay and to buy one of these, this is almost always the part that's worn out the most. And so that's why this part right here, this particular one that I picked up was unusually clean and not beat up hardly at all. Most of them have a lot more wear and tear on that kind of clear coat that goes over the buttons, or the buttons themselves have been worn so badly. But Andy Digi, yeah, cool watch. All right, there's the break. So we did the pocket flashlights, and those are the ones I always have with me. So I always have my cell phone with me. I have this with me. And so whatever key I have it on a set of keys. So when I'm carrying keys around, I've got a flashlight on there. I've got this one on my computer bag. So that's dangling around. And people think like, oh, you're nuts with flashlights. Yeah, up until it gets really dark. And then everybody else is using their cell phone. And next thing you know, their cell phones start to go dead because they, when you need the light, has your cell phone been fully charged? Generally, no. Your cell phone is already being discharged because it's during the day. So I don't know. I tell people that all the time as part of my readiness campaign. It's like, have a small flashlight with you in your pocket, something small. You can run most of these flashlights on low for a few days. Okay. And that's when it comes to looking at things, you don't need a lot of light. So these are actually pretty good. This one doesn't last quite as long, but on super low, it'll last, I think it's 2 days. I don't have the stats in front of me. I haven't looked at the stats in these watches or these flashlights for a long time. All right, so there's our break. Little content break. Back to the Casios. All right, so these are the Casios that I really like. I wear often, and there's several reasons why. I'm going to start off with one of my favorites. And that's the MRW 200. I love this analog watch. If you're going to get an analog watch, this is the one to get. Now, I think they have the 200, and the 200 is a much bigger watch. This is the perfect size for me. I have like an average to above average size wrist, like 7.5, I think, something like that, 7.75. Yeah, the Magpie. So I call this one the Magpie because of the black and white color. If you look up what a magpie is, it's a beautiful bird that we have here in Montana. It's part of the crow family, and anyway, so this watch reminds me of that. But beautiful watch, easy to set. Of course, my date is off. It's the 8th today. Let's see if we can turn the date. You got to be real gentle because when it comes to setting the date, shoot, I ended up doing the day of the week. We'll go back here, get this to Sunday, and then we just go the opposite direction for the date. Sábado, Spanish. There we go. Boom. Now we're on to the 8th. Beautiful looking watch. Now, this is a multi-directional friction-based bezel. So the bezel does work. So if you want to do some timing, you can actually set this up and do some timing. It's a elapsed timer. So this is how much time has elapsed. And yeah, you can go all the way around if you want to. But because it goes both directions, it's bi-directional. You can just spin that right back. Okay. Magpie. Love it. Cheap watch. Bunch of different colors. I think I got one in lime green as well. And I tried to do the hydro mod on it. Didn't work out. But I love the black and white version. I've seen a lot of people wear this watch. A buddy of mine, he has the orange numbers, indices, and handset on here. And that looked pretty cool. I had to say, I saw it, it was a few days ago, Friday, he was wearing it. It's like, oh, that's a Magpie, and that's the orange set. So I like that one. All right, so there's that one. Now, the GBD, I think it's the GBD 300. Let me go back here and check it out. Yeah, the GBD 300. And then the GB, these are the two I had, GBX 100. I did a throwdown with these two. These are MIP displays. The GBX 100 and the GBD 300. I got to make double certain here I'm doing the right thing here. Yes. This is the 300. This is the 100. I prefer the 100 over the 300. Okay, it has a couple functions on there that I like. I like the looks of it, a little more square-like. But I do kind of like the overall design of the 300 when it comes to the case design. It has kind of this UFO space saucer look to it. I think that's pretty cool. But as far as the overall look and function and everything else, I'm going to go with the GBX 100. I also like the strap on the GBX 100 because it has the dual pins on there. It has the fitness strap. So when you look at the typical Casio, this is what I hate about Casios, is that the space between the holes is too big. So sometimes it's a little too tight, sometimes it's a little too loose. But with these fitness watches, somehow, some way, they figured out how to put more holes in the strap so that it's easier to get a much better fit, a more comfortable fit. The lights on both of these are great. MIP displays are awesome. These are battery powered. They're not solar at all. If they made these in solar, the GBX 100 in solar is golden. Absolutely golden. It's a step counter. It has that piece in there. It does not have the heart monitor, just a step counter. It is Bluetooth control, but you can do most of the settings on the watch, so it doesn't bother me. Same thing for the GBD 300, okay? Love the watches, okay? And I do wear them sometimes. I don't wear as much as I thought I would. Probably get rid of those eventually. All right, now we're getting down to the really good stuff. All right, let's see here. Oh yeah, okay. All right, this has a different strap on it. This Casio analog watch is the MTD 1074. MTD 1074. I don't see this watch out there hardly at all. And I put a Tropic strap on here. Love it. Love the Tropic strap. It has a ratcheting bezel. I mean, this was a find. I remember seeing this like, wait a minute, I've never seen anything like this from Casio. I love the red hand, is the minute hand on there. It just jumps out. The date window is perfect. It's quartz, okay? It's battery powered, so you don't have to worry about solar, keeping the sun or anything like that. But it just has a really nice look to it. Yeah. Yeah, this, Johan, I have not seen this MTD 1074 anywhere but on Amazon. I got this off of Amazon. Oh, he's sealing the Zelos. Yeah, we'll just do a little corner shot of the Zelos. Yeah. This one, spend some time looking for it if you have to go to eBay or one of those watch resellers to see if you can find it. I think it's great. Now, how does it compare to other ones? Let's get the Magpie up here. Where did it go? Where the heck did I put the Magpie? I just had it out here. This is like me trying to keep track of my children. Where did I put my children? That's not it. Come on. Here it is. Okay, Magpie MTD 1074 on the wrist. It's a little bit bigger. So for those of you with bigger wrists, this might be the way to go. All right, the Magpie, a little bit more dive watch looking. The MTD 1074, kind of that classic sport watch look, but it does have a rotating bezel, a timing bezel. And the etching on the bezel allows you to see what the time elapsed is. Okay. So, and I think it is 100 meters of water resistance. Let me check. Yep, 10 bar. So 100 meters of water resistance. Fantastic looking watch. These are my two favorite analog watches, strictly analog watches from Casio, right here. Put those over here in the pile of Casios. All right, now we're getting down to my faves. Now, yeah, let's do these guys together. The GD 350s. Okay, I haven't seen this model around. Now, there's a model out there that has a slightly different color on the display. I've seen that on Amazon. I think it's like 80 bucks. This watch you should be able to get for around $100 to less than $100. This is the negative display version. This is one of the few negative displays that actually works. Love these two. I wear this watch, either one of these, a lot. And the reason I wear them, it has the vibrate alert on it. So when I set the timer, the alarm, or the hourly chime, it vibrates on the wrist, a lot like a smartwatch would. Okay, but it's not a smartwatch. And so when I give a presentation, let's say I have a 50-minute presentation, I'll set this for 45 minutes, put it on my wrist, and as soon as I start talking, I hit the timer button. See, the timer button is accessible from the home screen. That silver button is the timer. Watch. And you can see the timer running right now. Okay, up on top here. It says 1 hour, 59 minutes. Now to turn this off, I have to go back to the timer function and I have to turn it off there. Reset, and it's reset to 2 hours. You see the 2H up at the top. Okay, and I go back to here. So if I'm in a meeting or if I need a discrete alarm of some kind, I will almost always wear this watch. The hard part about this is the height off the wrist. It's thick. This is a thick watch to wear, but it is tough as nails. I call this one the grunt. A lot of military guys wear it. It's tough as nails. You'll see a lot of photos with guys, infantrymen wearing this watch. Special forces will wear this watch for a couple of reasons. It's tough as nails. The light is awesome on here. Okay, it has an awesome light. Okay, can't beat that light. And instant timer function. You know, if you want a 10-minute timer, set the timer up for 10 minutes and you can do it from the home screen. You don't have to punch your way through the modes to get to the timer and then start it. You just hit the button right here and it starts your timer. I love these two watches. I love you, man. All right. Next up, the Big Sky. Yeah, this is the, I forget the number on this one. The W736. The W736. Phenomenal backlight. Again, center posted light. Okay, center post. I love the center posted lights. So you have the GD350. This is the GBD300. And all of these have the light button at the 6 o'clock position, which I think is awesome. You get it off of the side of the watch and put it right up front. Same thing here in the W736. There it is. Okay, phenomenal light. When it's dark out, this light just lights up perfectly. This also has the vibrate alert. This is like a $30 watch. It's also a fairly tall watch, just like the GD350s. It's a little smaller profile left to right. Chunkiness factor wise, I think this one is a little bit chunkier proportionally than the GD350. But I love the looks of it. I wore this watch a lot here just recently, a few days in a row, because I was doing presentations and I wanted to time it. It's the same thing now. For this one, I have to go to timer function. Let's see here. Oh, I was at the timer function right away. There it is. I have to go to the timer function and hit the start and stop there. So it's a little different. That's why I like the GD350. It's right there. This silver button is your access to the timer function. It just goes right into it. So, all right, classic square, the 5600U. This is the updated red line version. This has the, what they call it? I keep forgetting what they call it. The multi-band 6. I want to say wave scepter. That's the old school. Multi-band 6. Yeah, the Big Sky is the little brother to the GD350 for sure. For sure. But I love the 56U. This is just a classic watch. Tough as nails. Low profile. If you want to wear a G-Shock with all the features, all the functions, this is the one to go with. The downside is the buttons. Everybody talks about the buttons. You have to get in there with a fingernail to press it. Also, that means you're not going to accidentally press it. But the overall profile of this thing, I wore this all the time for the 3 years, 4 years actually, that I had my lawn business. This was one of the watches I wore a lot because it wouldn't snag on things. It's tough solar, multi-band 6. It has dual time stopwatch, timer, the 5 alarms. What else do you need, right? Grab and go. So this is one of the few watches that will stick with me. I think if I was to choose between the GD350 and the 5610U, I'd probably go GD350, because of the vibrate alert. It's so nice to not have to hear the. Now I can turn this off, and there's an audible alarm for this, so you can turn that function off and turn the audible alarm on. Also, it also has the auto light feature. Remember the DB32, what was the number on this one? I think it was the 32. Yeah, the DBC32 has the auto light feature on here. So when you tip your wrist, the auto light comes on. Same thing with the GD350. Hold down the light button up right here. No, I'm sorry. I think you hold it right here. Oh, that's the vibrate. Hold the light button here and you'll see that dial. There it goes. See, now it's half. If I hold the light button down in that center, that upper right dial, it'll go down to a quarter. That's the auto light feature, turning it on and off. So when I rotate my wrist, it turns on the light in the dark. It only does it in the dark. It won't do it during the daytime. Okay. This also has the auto light feature on it. And because it's solar, like you're just not going to run out of battery. You know, it's awesome. But I love the vibrate feature. I'll take the vibrate feature over the square any day. Okay, Mudman. Jim Kincaid owes me an apology because I bought one and I've hung on to it. I was going to sell it. It's like, I don't think so. And actually, I got rid of the first one and I bought this one. This one has the metal bezel on here. This is the emergency responder version. And so it has some orange, red, different colors on here to recognize emergency responders. The one they don't have on here is blue for law enforcement. I don't understand that. But anyway, this has your compass feature. It has your altimeter feature on here. So you can, you know, do your outdoor things on here. It's solar powered. It's multi-band 6. This is a go anywhere, do anything type watch. Fantastic watch. It has the alarm, stopwatch, timer, world time. Yeah, and then you can get the received, the multi-band 6. It tells you when you've received it last. Light function right here down here at the center post. Good light, very legible. This is a very legible watch. It's a little bit dull because it has the solar panels overlaid on the dial over the display. So it's a little bit, the numbers aren't quite as crisp as some other watches, but that's the reason why. The band is a little bit stiff, but it is loosening up. So for those of you that are like, oh, this band is so stiff when you get a new one, yes, but it will loosen up a little bit. I don't wear this one a lot for outdoors, but I do wear it on occasion. Because if I want to go outdoors, I go back to my Pathfinder, and Johan knows this. This is my favorite one, the PRW 6600Y. It's super easy to read. The legibility of the analog watch is phenomenal. It has the display down here. It also has the center post light, which lights up. Let's see if here. Yeah, it's just not, the light in here is too bright. But it lights up the digital display down below. Digital display is good enough, okay? But this shows you the compass readouts. If I want to do the compass reading, I could just rotate this and the second hand shows me where north is, which is pretty slick. And you can calibrate this for declination. So whatever side of true magnetic north you're on, you can calculate for that. Altimeter, barometer, all that stuff. It has the alarms. It has the multi-band 6, tough solar. Super easy to read. I prefer the analog. I've just kind of gone analog. But if I needed one that was digital, I would definitely go with the Mudman. The Rangeman is a good watch, but for outdoor purposes, like hiking, camping, that kind of thing, I'd prefer to go with the Mudman. If I wanted to go a little bit tougher with a little more protection of the screen itself, I'd go with the Rangeman. Now, the Pathfinder has no protection. And I've had this watch for 5 years. And I wear this outdoors exclusively, hiking, camping, everything. And that's what it looks like. Okay. So it handles itself really well. All right. Now, the one that I wear almost daily, nightly actually, the GBDH 2000. I wear this for the sleep information. I'll also wear this if I'm traveling. Sometimes I'll leave this watch on. This also has the vibrate alert basically on here. So every hour it vibrates. By the way, I could do that on my other watches like the Big Sky and also on the GBDH 3 or the GD 350. Turn on the hourly chime and it will just vibrate on your wrist so you know when the hour has passed. So same thing here, but you have all the fitness stuff. So when I go running, biking, those are the two big ones that I do, are walking. I walk, I have a property here and I'll walk in the back. I'll put this on to see how far I've walked. I'll get my heart rate on here. This has a heart rate sensor on it. And, but it also, you have to charge it. Now this one, I charge this about once every 3 to 4 weeks, which is incredible. Most smartwatches, you're doing it every 4 days. This one is every 3 to 4 weeks, which I think is phenomenal. MIP display, super easy to read from just about any angle. You just have a hard time not reading this watch. The light display on here is awesome. It happens to be up here though, typical kind of light location on a Casio. But I love this watch. Jim, this is what you made up for it on this one. The Mudman, I don't know, the Mudman I kind of bought it. I probably shouldn't have, but I do like it. Outdoor watch, PRW 6600Y. Fantastic watch. This is your adjustment. You unscrew this down and you can make adjustments on here as you go through the watch itself. Bluetooth. This is Bluetooth. These two guys are not Bluetooth. Okay. So I can do a lot of stuff on the Bluetooth. Yeah, Jim's too busy diesel dunking. Yeah. Yeah, he did the watch. What I gave him a watch and he diesel dunked it, and I was hoping he would. It was the Gravity Master. Yeah, he dunked the Gravity Master. All right, little break. Dad's Day, Father's Day coming up. I highly recommend this tool, Fantic. I got this off of Amazon. Very, very nice tool. Pop this out. Here is the handle, and here are all the bits. These are all magnetic bits. It has all the small stuff. The reason I got this is I needed a driver set that had all the small tips to them, whether they were hex, stars, whatever the unique features. This one has all of them. It has some really funky ones on here too that I've never seen before, which means that when I come across it, this is the tool I'm going to have. There's a tweezer in here. There's also some kind of like drug dispensing paddle. I don't know what that's for. Some extended tools as well. So very simple thing to use. I like it. And then, of course, the bits all go in here. And it fits really nice. I love this. I use this for watches. I bring this with me when I can. I usually don't bring this on airplanes. I think it might make people nervous with just all the tools on here. I don't really need it for that. But when I go out and travel, I bring this with because it has every small driver you can possibly think of. I got this on Amazon. I don't have the link for it. Highly recommend it. So, we'll get to the Swiss Army knives in the next break. Swiss Army knives are coming up. And after that, we'll do the Bibles. Now, we're going to get into, let me grab my fistful of Casios. We'll move these around, get these off the table because I'm going to get into mechanical watches now. There we go. Put these over here. Yeah, literally a fistful of Casios. I had somebody make a comment about that. Like, you're not kidding about a fistful of Casios. Oh, I got one more digital watch. This came from AliExpress. I did a review on this one. I don't remember what the model is on this. Go to my videos to watch this. This is worth every single penny. This is a smartwatch that I highly recommend. It also lasts about 5 days to a week, depending on what you use with it. It has GPS, heart monitor, O2 sensor, all the stuff that GBDH 2000 has. This one has it. This is kind of your typical touch screen though. Like you can do all kinds of cool things here. You got all the different apps that are on here. So you've got that going for you. What is that, Bill Murray from Caddyshack? Hey, you got that going for you. Heart rate, blood oxygen, all the stuff that you've just phenomenal. No notifications. All right. So for the money, this watch is great. Also, look at the profile of this watch. Let me pull up the GBDH 2000 because the GBDH 2000, you can also get notifications, emails, text messages, and all that. You just don't get the touch screen. But look at the size difference off the wrist. That is impressive. Now, yeah, the crystal's more exposed for sure. It's not an MIP display, but it does a pretty good job. And you can choose the different kinds of displays. There's supposed to be a bunch that there's not very many, honestly. This one I like. It's kind of that analog look to it. Has a few things about it that I like. But for the money, you cannot beat this. Go to I forget what the model number is on this one. But it's through AliExpress. And it's like, I want to say it's less than $100 for the watch. But it behaves like a $300 to $400 smartwatch. So it does have some water resistance. I think it's 50 meters, maybe 100 meters of water resistance. All right, now we're going to bust through what I have left in my Quartz collection. These are the Quartz analog watches. The Baltony, I love this one. This is kind of the homage to the, I got one of the pushers here unscrewed, to the Hamilton Field khaki watch. Great looking watch, stopwatch, quartz movement. It just is a great overall watch. Grab and go. Excellent, excellent lume. This is the Workhorse Backcountry watch by Vero. And I don't believe they make this one anymore. I put a wrist compass watch. Yeah, compass watch on there. And this one actually has some lume on it too. But this is great. You press the start button down here. The orange button goes with the orange second hand for the stopwatch, and reset. Okay, pretty cool. I love that Quartz watch. Another Quartz watch, my Bulova. If you look at this, gotta get the dust off there. Look at the movement real close. It is almost a sweep. This is the precisionist movement. 284 hertz. I can't remember what it is. Super smooth. Not perfectly smooth. It's almost. But look at how smooth this is. Also, accuracy. This watch is less than a dozen seconds off a year. Allegedly. We end up setting the watch twice a year because of daylight savings and going back and forth. So I don't ever get a chance to see that. But I just love the cool dial design, very classy look, great dress watch, cool movement. I will be hanging on to that one for a long time. This is the Citizen, was this the Nighthawk? I forget what this, I think it's called the Nighthawk. But this is an Eco Drive pilot watch, which you can rotate the slide rule basically on the inside around and do calculations. It's super fun to learn how to do that. Very easy watch to use, but it's also a GMT. You'll notice over here the half circle. There's a little airplane with, or another hand with a red airplane on it. That's your GMT hand. And so it points at another time until you have dual time zones, basically. Great Quartz watch. Citizen watches are excellent. Yeah, Johan, for the money, the sweep on that watch is incredible. This is a Rudland. Now, I did a review on this one a couple of years ago, and the one I got was a piece of junk. This one is not. This one, I was like, I'm going to go buy the same watch again. This is the Rudland. This is the homage to the Omega TV watch, I think is what they call it. Quartz movement, nothing special about it. I just love the look of it. I love the integrated bracelet, and it looks cool. I'd like to put it on, but I've got this other watch on. I want to kind of save it. But it looks cool. I love the retro look on the bracelet. It's hard to beat it. Overall, just fantastic looking watch. Milled clasp, heavy duty. And for some reason, when they put this one together, they did it right. And no issues with the hands being off as it goes around. Let's see here. Let's grab some other Quartz movements. The Zeppelin. I get so many comments off of the review that I did 3 years ago, off this watch. This watch still gets a lot of reviews. It is a full lume dial. And so, let's see, I have flashlights. Where am I put? Here we go. So full lume dial means it is super bright. This is one of the brightest watches. When I turn the light off in my room at night, this watch glows. Yeah, and you can see I didn't do a very good job, but it's a little bit uneven. You can see the lume on here is pretty good. It's much, much brighter when I get, I'll do the UV light here. But when you get the UV light, it lights up super quick. So, of course, next to my bed, I have the UV light. And here we go. Shine it with some UV. I mean, it glows during the daytime. You can see how bright that is. Classic looking dial, kind of the Breguet looking dial, handset. Okay. Quartz movement. Now, if you look carefully, you'll see down here at the bottom dial, the 6 o'clock subdial, it says alarm. Yes, it has an alarm that you can turn on and off, which is fantastic. Here's your running seconds over here on the right. And then when you hit the stopwatch, not my favorite. I like the Mecha Quartz where it's a little more of a sweep. But then you have your hours and minutes over here at the 9 o'clock. But it basically has, there we go. It basically has a dual time zone because this alarm, you also set the time on that alarm. So that alarm is its own clock or its own watch or its own time zone. So you can set that and turn that on and off. I love the looks of this watch. Fantastic little Quartz watch. Another one is the Electrician Z. I'm going to pull that one up here. It is my favorite watch from last year. So for those of you wondering what was my favorite watch from 2024, I never did do the video. But I'll tell you right now, let's see, I got that one and that one. Okay, I got only a couple left. The Electrician Z. What a cool looking watch. Kind of a steampunk look where you have some different pieces in there. Some of it's functional, some of it's just for looks. But fantastic. And I love the light. The light on this one is, I'm a light lume guy. I love lume, I love light. Yeah. So it's just a cool quartz watch, different looking dial. It's surprisingly legible because this is a much larger dial. So let's pull up. Let's see here, something recognizable. Kind of your typical watch, 39 millimeter design. This is like 42, I think, the Electrician Z. I believe this is 38 or 39. We'll get to that one in just a minute. That's San Martin, but nice looking watch. I love it. As far as quartz watch goes, I really like it. This is a cheap Invicta, like a $60 Invicta. But I got to say, I love the bezel action on this one. Of all the bezel actions I have, for some reason, I like this one the most. This is in Minnesota Vikings color. I call it the Sear watch, the Victory watch. And I don't know where the extra links went. I sent them to one of my boys when we passed this back and forth to see who had the most accurate predictions for when the Vikings were going to win. And so anyway, I ended up with it at the end of last season and kind of kept it. But great looking watch. Invicta has been around for decades, and they're one of the classic watchmakers out there. This is a quartz movement, and just kind of a classy looking watch. But it's really purchased for the Minnesota Vikings season, which this year we're going to win the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's every year I say it, but this year seriously, and I'm super serious. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year, no doubt about it. Okay, quartz watches. I think that's it. Now we're getting to the mechanical watches. We're going to go through these kind of quick because I don't want to get it. These are not reviews. These are going to be watches that I like. Let's start off with the ones that I'm not as huge of a fan of. We'll do those first. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. Okay, good. This is the watch that was a collaborative between Islander and Helm. Kind of a classic field watch with kind of a sector crosshairs in the middle. It has the 6 at the bottom with the orange. By the way, that's lume orange. The lume on here is pretty good. It's kind of your NH35 movement. I'm not a huge fan of the bracelet though. Let me see here. I forgot how to open this. Man, it's been a long, long fall and winter. I forgot how to open this watch. All right, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of the collaboration, automatic NH38 movement, not 35, 38. 200 meters of water resistance, excellent lume. I'll be getting rid of this watch. It's limited edition. They don't make this one anymore. It has that gold backing on here, and for some reason I can't open up. I swear. There we go. Yeah, it's just a pressure clasp on here, which I'm not a fan of that. I wish it had pushers, okay? So when you're spending that kind of money, it has just a clasp here, and it just gets hooked onto here. So not a fan of that considering the money spent on it. But anyway, good looking watch. If you're looking for a field watch, contact me on this limited edition Helm Islander collaboration. They don't make this one anymore. Laurier Hydra. I love it. GMT, very compact. The natural rubber strap is so pungent. I have a hard time wearing it because it is so strong, but I love it. I love the looks of this watch. I think what I'm going to do is find a different strap for it that's black, DLC coated. It has kind of that classic crystal look to it. These are acrylic crystals, so they will scratch, but the acrylic crystal gives kind of a warm glow or a warm look to the overall look. This is the Helm. It's Helm, right? Man, I'm losing it. The Miyaku. I waited a year and a half for this watch. This is not Helm. What is somebody comment on this one. I forgot which. I think it's Helm. I could be wrong. I haven't worn this watch for a long time. This is an ISO certified dive watch. 200 meters of water resistance, has passed all of the requirements for a dive watch. And it's a cool looking watch, I have to admit. Comes with 2 straps, a bracelet and a strap. I've got a leather strap on here because I like the looks of this with leather. And I've kind of gone through a leather phase, and I like the leather look on this one better. Um, but this is also one that you wait a year plus to get into. And I'm ready to get rid of this one. Yeah, it is Helm. The Miyaku diver's watch, 200 meters, automatic, stainless. So if you're interested in that one, let me know. But it's a kind of your classic looking dive watch, if you ask me. The lume on this is really, really good. It's not excellent, but it is really, really good. The Caravel, manual wind. This is 1976. Tiny little watch. I think this is a 34 millimeter, maybe 36. I think it's 34. I love the looks of this. You look at this really closely and it has kind of a parchment dial look to it. Okay. That orange second hand going around, just kind of cool color, adds a splash of color in there. The indices, the numbers on there, I just love it. I took off the expandable bracelet and I put on this leather strap. I had to trim it a little bit just so it would fit and work. But I love the looks of this. It's a little too small for me. I don't wear it very often. My wife was wearing this every now and then. So that's another one that's kind of a classic, but I may or may not get rid of it. Who knows? Now we're going to get into the ones that I really have a fondness for. Okay. The Zelos Swordfish Bronze Edition. Love it. Excellent lume. I love Zelos watches. I have 3 of them. This one isn't patinaing as well as I'd like. It's starting to get there, but it's taken forever. I love the strap on this one. This one fits nice. It's a really supple leather strap. But this is such a cool watch. I love it. And I love the different designs on here. And yes, the orange markers, they glow different. The burnt orange dial, the Fume dial, awesome. You have the orange, bright orange tip on the second hand as it goes around. I mean, this is just phenomenal. I love it. Yeah, I think this is 200 meters of water resistance as well. Let's see, what does it say? Yeah, 200 meters of water resistance. So again, another phenomenal watch. Notice sector dial, Black Hawk. Love it. Absolutely love this watch. This also has an adjustable clasp, so you push to adjust on the fly. It also, yeah, quick release on the bracelet. Slide those off. Love it. Friction bezel, which I'm not a huge fan of the friction bezel when it comes to a watch like this. I prefer it to be ratcheting, one unidirectional, but this does all right. It has enough friction to where it doesn't move around very easily at all. I love the look of the sector dial that's going on here. The different layers on the dial, phenomenal. Day date. So this is what, NH36, I believe. And the crystal on this, I believe, is sapphire. Yeah. Cool looking watch. Really like that watch. The Sugis M something. I forget the number is, but just a classic looking watch. Chronograph. This is the ST 1901. Chinese movement on the back, which is super cool. Display case back. Just love the looks of this watch. This is photographically, of all the reviews I've done, this is my favorite watch that I photographed. And I think if you look at this review, you might agree with me. This watch is extremely photogenic. It also has some good texture on the dial. It has all kinds of things on here that you have the moon phase. You can do the date with the pushers over here. You can adjust those too. Your running seconds is over here on the left. You have a 30-minute stopwatch function here, and these are the pushers for your stopwatch. Really good watch. Steel Dive Willard, AliExpress, love it. Great, great lume. I put a engineer bracelet on here, which I love the look of this bracelet with this watch. I think it does a good job. Okay. All right, moving on. We've got a classic. This is the Glycine vacuum watch. So watch the review on this one. This is a cool design. It was only around for a handful of years before it faded out because the quartz watch movement came in and kind of took over. So this is the early to mid 60s. This watch is held together by air pressure. If you evacuate all the air on the inside of the watch, then the pressure of the air on the outside of the watch keeps the case back pushed in at 200, I think it's 200 feet per inch pressure. Great little watch. I love the look of it. Got dinged up here a little bit on the bottom on the crystal, but you know what? This is a 1960s watch. I'm okay with it. I love the bracelet. This bracelet is so cool. So cool. And again, kind of that Casio bracelet where you have an adjustment here that you can slide up and down. But you can see that there's some texturing on the back. So you have to fit in one of those grooves. But there's plenty of grooves to get a nice, good fit on there. Okay. I think they've got, if I remember right, they've got the bracelet upside down on this one. That's okay. Whatevs. The Signum Cuda. Paul Whaley did the review on this watch. This is my summer watch. I'll be wearing this a lot this summer. I love the bright colors. I love the strap on here. It's just orange. Okay. Super orange. The lume on this is like a nightlight, and it's orange lume, and the handset and the indices are bright white. Fantastic look. Fantastic look. Yeah. Let's see here. The Bauhaus design. Looking at Johann's comments here. It looks incredible version with the wires. Yep. Yeah. Some cool watches. So yeah, this one's good. Good bezel action on here. I really like this watch. Highly recommend that everybody have a Signum Cuda because of the lume. Get a full lume dial. You'll be amazed by it. My favorite San Martin of all time. I love the look of this watch. I bought one a year ago, and I gave it to my youngest stepson because he wears it when he dresses up for home hockey games. He's a forward, I think, on the high school team, JV team. So anyway, this is the watch that I gave to him, and I missed it so much I went and bought another one because I just love the color. The color on this watch is phenomenal. No, I didn't know, Kyle. Signum is South African. Did not know that. Thank you, Johann. Did not know that. Yeah. Just a great looking sport watch overall. The finish on San Martins are top shelf on AliExpress. They are in the mix with some of the best micro brands out there, in my opinion. Just the quality of the construction, the looks, everything. And adjust on the fly clasp, which now this is, if it doesn't have the adjust on the fly clasp, I'm less likely to buy a watch. I'm less likely to buy a watch anyway. Paul Whaley and I are going to do a live episode this Thursday, and that'll be one of the things I talk about is like what happens when you hit that watch lull, when you're like, I don't want to buy any more watches because I've kind of hit the wall. What are some of the reasons for it? We'll talk about that on Thursday. But this is one of my favorite watches. San Martin does a great job. All right. Moving on to some different looking watches. Let's vary this up, and then we'll stop and take a break and do another interruption for an important message. The Rudland Turbine Pilot. The most accurate watch I have is this watch. It still runs plus 1 second a day. This is a manual wind. Okay, let's show the back of this one. It's a manual wind, Chinese movement. Fantastic watch. And the little kid in me loves the turbine on here. There's a little red dot on there. Let's see, where is it at? I think it's coming up to the 12 o'clock position right now. Oh no, there it is, the 7 o'clock position. So you can reference the seconds hands if you want. But it runs plus 1, and it's been doing that for over a year. Fantastic watch. Love it. I love the look of it. It's that Flieger watch look. Here is a Bulova A15, classic Miyota movement. Just like the looks of it. I'll probably get rid of this. I love the strap on this one. I cannot find this strap anywhere else. It's super thin, leather, goes really well with this watch. The Bulova A15. If you're interested, let me know. Give me a price, and we'll see what we do with it. But I love that one. Great looking watch. This is the Red Star Bullhead. Again, ST1901 movement. So you have that classic manual wind stopwatch movement. Bullhead design at the top up here. I love the fume colors on this one. I love the handset. Easy to read when it comes to legibility. This is another one that when I wear this, like, what kind of watch is that? Because the pushers are up at the top and you have to explain them. Okay, so this is, it was called a Bullhead design, and Citizen made it. I think Citizen's the one that made it famous. So that's another cool looking watch. All right, we're going to take a break. Now, we're going to talk Bibles, right? No, Swiss Army knives. Swiss Army knives. All right. So These are the Swiss Army knives. Let's move this out of the way. Got to clear some space. These are my Swiss Army knives. I use almost every single one of these for different reasons. All right, so I've got the Tinker. This is the Tinker Deluxe, has the pliers in it. I used this when I was mowing. This was in my pocket all the time. It has the pliers in here, which actually work really well. I did use them because they're kind of like needle nose pliers. I can get into certain spaces with a Swiss Army knife or a Swiss Army knife type plier set. And they have all the other functions on here. You have screwdrivers and things like that. But the Tinker Deluxe is the way to go. Plus, you also get a true Phillips head screwdriver, which is another plus on here. That, along with, you've got your flat screwdriver on the can opener. I love the Tinker Deluxe. This one, oh shoot, this is the Ranger, I believe. And the Ranger, yeah, the Ranger has the saw. Trying to get this out. Here we go. It has the saw. It has the, this is like for wood. This is for metals. It also has a file on here that you can file things down, round things off a little bit. So the Ranger is another one that I like. I do carry this one a lot. When I carry the Ranger, I'm almost like, if I carry the Ranger, I think I'm going to carry the Super Champ because it has everything, almost everything, including the kitchen sink. So it has the magnifying lens, scissors, pliers, files, saws on there, the hooks on the back here, the parcel hook, which, by the way, I've used the parcel hook as a parcel hook, which is pretty cool. When you have to hang on to something that's heavy on a rope, I'll pull that out. So I do love this. I carry this whenever I go someplace and I know I need a tool set, but I don't want to bring maybe this big tool set right here. Okay. Now, again, this has all the small tool heads on here, and the Champ, it's not going to have that on there. But if I need a bunch of tools and it's like, I'm going to be gone for a week, and if I have to fix something, I'm bringing this. Now, of course, you can't bring it on a plane, but if I'm driving, this is always with me. We have, and I forget what this one is. Oh, shoot. This one, somebody comment on this one. This one has, let's see if somebody can figure this out. I've forgotten which one this is. Here's the scissors. Let's pull all the tool set out here so people can see it. 2 knives, screwdrivers, can openers. What is this one? I cannot remember. No, I don't think it's the Spartan, Johan. The Huntsman. I think this is the Huntsman. Yes, this is the Huntsman, which is a really popular version tool set out there. So the Huntsman, very popular, fairly compact. When you look at the Ranger, which is a little bit wider, here's the Super Deluxe Tinker, or the Deluxe Tinker. It's about the same. The Huntsman's a little bit more narrow than those. Of course, the Super Champ, the Super Freak, is like twice the width. But again, you have everything here. If I go hunting or if I'm going camping, I'm bringing this. This goes in my pack. It has everything I need. And I've added the eyeglass thing in here. I don't have the fire starter, which I really like to have. The fire starter is awesome. I did use it. It has the flint, the steel on there, and you use the saw to drag the sparks out. But you take the fire starter here and you pull that apart. It's fibrous, and you can get that to catch. I did use that to get the fire starter going. Actually, this is it right here. This is the punk stuff that you use. All right, so I use those. This is I think this is the Farmer, the Alux Farmer, and it just has a heavy duty tool set. So if I want a heavy duty knife with a much thicker blade, I'll pull the Champ knife out here so you can see the difference on the thickness. Okay, you can see the thickness of the two blades. So the Alux is just, it's heavier duty stuff. You don't have as many tools, but they're heavier duty. And I believe this is the Farmer, and you've got an awl that you clean things out with, a couple of screwdrivers. Your skizzers are in here. That's the big blade. Where did it sit? Here they are. Let's go on this side. The scissors, heavier duty. Okay, so Has all that stuff. Doesn't have the toothpick and tweezer. Okay, all the rest of these have the toothpick and tweezer. And I've added a few more things on there. I've added toothpick, tweezer, and I've added a pen. I think this is the pen if I pull this out. Yeah, here's the pen. So I cut out in the scales, I cut out another groove. So here's the tweezer. Okay, that's in its normal spot. And I think the toothpick is the one that I cut out, which I replaced the toothpick with a fire starter. Okay, and the toothpick, actually the toothpick's down here. So yeah, you get the deluxe scales and you get the 3 and you just cut out one more and you can put the fire starter, tweezer, pen, and toothpick all on there. Okay, this is the compact. And the compact is pretty cool too because it comes with the deluxe scales. So you have the tweezer, you have the ballpoint pen, you also have the toothpick, you've got the eyeglass here, and it has the basic functions. So it has the knife, it has the scissors, okay? And it also has, I believe, the small knife, doesn't it? Here we go. No, it has the, yeah, this has the multi-tool on here. So it has a wire stripper, flathead, and it also has the bottle opener, okay? That's the compact. I carry the compact surprisingly quite a bit because it's so much thinner. Where did the Huntsman go? Here's the Huntsman. It's like half the width of the Huntsman. Okay. Now, as far as the small ones go, I forget the name of this one. What is this one? This is the Champ. No, this is not the. I forget the name of this one. I don't carry this one as much. Honestly, like when I get to this point, I always carry this one. This one is the nail clip. I carry this one all the time. It has the tweezer, it has the toothpick, and it also has a full-on nail clip. And I use this as my nail clipper all the time. Perfect. I also have the knife, okay? You also have a really good nail file. There's the shiny side, but here's the file side. And that works fine. And then you've got the scissors, and the scissors is actually serrated. So for cutting like more fibrous type things. And you'll also notice that the return spring on here is different. But I carry the nail clip all the time. What is the name of this one? This one's kind of cool because it has a pen. Use this little gray slider right here. And you have a pen, but you also have the regular tool set and some different things. I think you have 2 knives. Here's your nail file, which is pretty good. I don't mind, the nail file is helpful. This is like a reamer of some sort. And let's see, in the back, we have this multi-tool, which is kind of funky looking multi-tool right here. Wire stripper. You have the Phillips head at the very top, a small Phillips head. All right, see ya, Johan. I know it's late out in South Africa. Take care, buddy. And then you have the regular Swiss Army knife from all kids receive these, I think, in stockings. You've got the knife, scissors, and nail file. Whoops, came out together. You got the nail file, screwdriver on the end, flat. And then you've got the scissors on the back side. Just a classic. I do carry this every now and then. I'll carry this. I'll carry a combination. Usually I carry a bigger Swiss Army knife with a smaller Swiss Army knife. Honestly, I carry this one so much that these 2 guys just don't get used very much. But if I'm carrying something that I know has a nail file, let's go with the compact, which, by the way, the nail file is on the parcel hook. So if I pull that up, you can see in the parcel hook, the nail file is right there. So I can file the nail this way, okay? So I might carry these 2 together. I'm sorry, I would carry these 2 together, okay? Something big, something small. I might need a bigger knife, but I may need, I use these small knives to do a lot of the dirty work. So there we go, Swiss Army knives. All right, let's finish up the mechanical watches, and then I'm gonna go to the Bibles that I purchased. So, mechanical watches, favorite. Another San Martin. This is an Omega Homage, beautiful looking watch. Adjustable on the fly clasp. I was just wearing this one yesterday. I love the looks of this one. Very, very legible timing bezel. The handset is good. I'm not a huge fan of the skeletonized handset, but I'm okay with it. This is the Nordic Marine Instruments, the NMI. What is this one called? The Sovern full lume dial, which also means blacked out handset. So if you go full lume dial, get the blacked out handset if you can. Beautiful looking sport watch, adjustable in the fly clasp. I just love this. Now this is Scandinavian as far as the company goes. I think it's manufactured somewhere in Asia, but it's a Scandinavian company. So because my ancestry is Scandinavian, I like that one a lot. This is one of my most expensive watches, which is the Hamilton khaki field chronograph. And I have the razor bracelet on here because I think it just adds to the tough look of it. This thing is so heavy. This is like a paperweight. And it has the Valjoux movement on here, which is awesome. Start and stop pushers on here. 100 meters of water resistance. Tough as nails. And it keeps really good time. Easy legibility to read. Heavy duty watch. When I want to go wear something big that looks tough, I wear this Hamilton khaki field watch. All right, the Orient Bambino. My wife got this watch for me. Love the watch. I wear this when we go on dates, and it's just something that I want her to know that I love her, and this watch is from her to me, and it's incredible. I love the crystal on it. I love the look. It's classic, blued handset. Just a great looking watch. All right, some other good ones. So we did that one. We got that one. Let's go with these guys. Let's do some dive watches. The Revlot Hex Mariner, gilded. I love the looks of this. I love the hex shapes. Even the indices are hex shaped. The lume on this is unbelievable. Where's my lumometer? I mean, it's daytime. You can see the lume. It's that good. And you can see that right there. I mean, it's fantastic. This is a 39. So there's the Hex Mariner 39. They don't make this anymore as far as I know. But even the bracelet has that hex shape to it. Great action on the bezel. Love the watch. Great looking watch. Citizen, left hand crown. NY00409, I think it's 93 or 9Y. Full lume dial. You get the picture, guys. I love full lume dials. And this one's bright. Doesn't last quite as long. Here's the downside. This is what I'm talking about when you have non-blacked out handset versus a blacked out handset. Look at how difficult it is to read when it comes to full lume. Okay? That's what you need. Blacked out handset. Okay? Zelos. This is the Swordfish. Full lume. Yeah. I got a bunch of full lume dials here. And again, extremely bright. Okay? Blacked out handset, NH35 movement. Beautiful looking dial. Adjustable on the fly clasp. It's just a cool looking watch. I like it. Okay. All right, let's grab these dudes. This is a watch that I kind of got. This is not it. What's the one I'm looking for? Where did it go? I haven't done it yet. Ooh, I haven't. Did I do this one? I don't think I did this one. We're going to do this one next. Steel Dive. This is supposed to be, let's see, what is the homage? It's the Rolex, the deep sea watch, the 1,000 meters of water resistance. This is rated for 1,000 meters of water resistance. It is a chunk of steel. And surprisingly, I like it. Like, this watch has grown on me. The Deep Sea Dweller, I think, is the name. And it looks cool. You put it on the wrist, and sure, it's big, but you get a nice snug fit. Okay, when you wear a heavy watch, wear a snug fit. But it is dang cool. The bezel action on here is pretty good. It's not an expensive watch, so don't have high standards on some of the stuff. But it actually looks really cool. It has your helium release valve. You know, if you go down 1,000 meters, your own personal release valves are going to be going off, let alone the watch. Yeah, it's just not going to work for you. But this is really kind of cool looking. It's so much steel In order to get the 1,000 meters of water resistance on here, you have to have everything heavy. The crystal's heavy duty, the case is heavy duty. So the dial looks almost smaller than it should be. Proportionally wise, it doesn't look quite right, but I kind of like that actually. The crown is nice and big. Everything on it is nice and big. All right, the Seiko Samurai. I love the Seiko Samurai and the razor wire bracelet. This thing is so incredibly comfortable to wear. Unbelievable. I wore this when I was out in Washington, D.C. I love this watch. The bezel's off. It's the classic Seiko issue. The bezel's off, but it's the Seiko Samurai look, which has all the angles, which I love. And legibility is great. Lume on it's good. It's not great. There's lume out there that's better than this. But the handset is great. If you look closely, the second hand has that red tip on it, which I absolutely love. Anytime you add a little splash of color on one of the hands on the handset, it's awesome. But this bracelet seals the deal for me. I love this bracelet. So that alone, I think, is probably be one of the reasons why I keep the watch. I think this is a Rudland. Is this a Rudland? No, this is the Ixindao. This is an AliExpress. I say Ixindao. Maybe that's not the name. IXDAO. And it's an homage to the French watch. I forget the name of the French watch is. This starts with an S. Can't think of it. But anyway, I love the handset. The lume on this is incredibly good. Incredibly good. I love the look of the bracelet. Again, it kind of goes back to that glycine vacuum watch. This bracelet is really cool. It's a little difficult to size, but you can see you've got the ridges in here. Serica, thank you, Skylar. And but once you get in there and you get it sized up and lock it down, it really does not come loose. So love it. And it's a cheap version of this. This is the Swiss movement, the SW200, I believe, is in here. So you have a Swiss movement in here, which I think is great. The first one I got, the Swiss movement, broke. That's the first time ever I've ever had a watch, a Swiss movement watch, where it broke within the first few months of owning it. Something happened on the setting, on the crown, the stem inside there, got messed up, and sent it in. They sent me another one. So anyway, love that watch. It's a great looking watch. Borealis. If you haven't purchased a Borealis, I highly recommend it. Excellent lume on this one as well. I'll show you daytime lume. Yes, for sure, daytime lume. This is a GMT, and this watch, yeah, you can see that, very legible. I got this watch because of the green and black. My company colors for my lawn business was green and white and black, and so this to me was my business watch. I would wear this out mowing. It's tough as nails, sapphire crystal. NH30, what is it, 34, NH34 movement because it's GMT. Yeah, NH34. 200 meters of water resistance. Fantastic watch, great action on the bezel. So you got the 3 different time zones. You can set up here the regular time zone, the GMT, and if you move the bezel around, you get a 3rd time zone. Bernie, I'm not sure who this is modeled after, but I just love the looks of this watch. It's a compressor style watch, so you can loosen up the crown here. Okay, and you can move the internal timing bezel. There we go, which is on a gear, and you can feel it as you turn it, and then you can screw it back down and hold it in place. Which, unlike the A15, the Bulova, which this drives me nuts. If I move just a little bit on my wrist, these internal bezels, now this is not a compressor watch, this is actually a pilot watch, that you can set for different time zones and different settings. It's too loose. It's too touchy. But the Bernie, I love the looks of this. This is kind of a summertime watch along with the Signum Cuda. All right, so we covered all those. Got that one, that one, that one, that one. All right, we're getting down there. And my favorite watch, it'll be last. It's still my favorite. So if you've watched the channel, you know which one I'm talking about. Let's get this one up here. The Bernie. And yeah, Quartz, make a Quartz movement. I love the look of it. Kind of a military style. Zin, obviously it's an homage to the Zin. And but titanium bracelet, titanium case, extremely lightweight with a Mecha Quartz movement and great lume. It's like $60. Like how in the world, like this is fantastic. I love this watch. Super lightweight. Love to wear that one. The San Martin, they call it a pilot watch. I just love it because it's full lume, okay? And the lume on this one is really good. It's not off the charts, but it's really good for a full lume dial. Okay, blacked out handset, oversized crown, onion style crown on here. But look at the simplicity of this watch. I love this watch because of how simple it is. A simple watch goes a long, long way. No date complication. It's just time. And I love this multi-link bracelet. It's fantastic. Now, downside, you only have 2 adjustments. Actually, you have 1 because it's already set on 1. So I only have 1 other place to go with this. So fortunately, this one fits pretty well. If this doesn't fit, I'm going to probably be buying another bracelet that looks like this, that has a fully adjustable clasp on here because that's the way I like to roll now. But simplicity, you get some of these dials out there. Here's the Samurai and, all kinds of stuff that's inside there. And here's one that's ultra complex, okay? The Zeppelin, the 84 or the 8680. And it's busy, but you get a simple watch like this. And if you don't have one, you got to get one. In black and white, go black and white. It's so, I don't know. It speaks to me in a way that most other watches don't. I will hang on to this watch for a long time. This will be a watch in the top 5, maybe top 10, maybe the top 5, because it's just there. Plus it's San Martin, good quality movement, good quality construction. Second hour Mandela limited edition, just freaking cool. The dial, the handset, the bracelet. I mean, everything about this is just cool. It's a limited edition. This is the gilded version, gilting on there. Cool. I wore this to church today. I love this watch. Unfortunately, it has the regular adjustments on here. It does not have the micro or the on-the-fly adjustable clasp, but yeah, just a beautiful looking sport watch. Glycine Airman. I think if you're seriously into watch collecting and you love pilot watches, you need to get a Glycine Airman. Phenomenal watch. This is the GMT. So you've got the GMT hand up there. You got the date complication, the screw down bezel so that you can unscrew this. And now the bezel moves, lock it down. You can see there's teeth in there that when you screw this down, it interlocks the teeth together so it has no place to go. And really cool looking watch. Butterfly clasp. This is the only butterfly clasp out there. I took a chance. It's like, if this doesn't fit, I think I'm going to get rid of the watch. I hate butterfly clasps. Hate them. I don't know. There's something about them that they're harder to put together. They're very hard to get adjusted right. You don't have a lot of adjustments like you do even the regular clasps. But this one, it fits. I love the look of it. I wore this one out in Washington, D.C. at the trip. And second to last, here we go. My favorite bronze watch, limited edition, Frost, which means, you guessed it, full lume dial. But check out the coloration on the bezel. You've got some blue on there. Okay. Blacked out handset, NH35 movement. But look at the oxidation on here. I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, this is why I don't understand why the Swordfish, which is also a bronze case, is not doing the same thing. It should be equally as oxidized as the Hammerhead. This is the Hammerhead. Love the Hammerhead shape. This watch I will hang on to for a long, long time. This is my top 5. I love the bronze case. I love the Willard kind of overall case design, but the crown sticks out far enough. The problem with the Willard, let me pull this up here, and this is the steel die version, but the crown guards stick out so far that you're grabbing on the top sides. And I know there's a purpose for it, but you know what? I prefer this one. If I screw it down tight enough, it does not come loose. I love the strap on here. This is definitely my number 1 or number 2 watch, depending on my mood during the day. So I wear this one. And Johan correctly ascertained that was the watch I was wearing. He's like, "Oh, I see you're wearing a Zelos." Yes, I'm wearing, and I get comments on this one. "Hey, do you want to sell it?" And this watch, That'd be a pretty penny to sell it right now. All right, last but not least, I'm going to close this up and then do the Bible thing. The Wise at Damascus. Beautiful, beautiful sport watch. This has the Artem sailcloth strap on it, which I absolutely love. I think it matches up perfectly. I don't even remember what the strap is that came with this because I love the Artem strap that's on here. I did a review on the Artem strap, quick release. Yeah, they're pricey straps. Some people say they wear out faster than they should for the price. But this watch, the handset, the dial, Miyota 9000 movement, date complication. Look at the handset. Hour hand, minute hand differentiate from themselves very well. The lume on this is phenomenal. For a dive watch, a dress dive watch, it's right up there with a lot of the other looms out there. The top looms, like the Revlot Hex Mariner 39. I mean, that's phenomenal as far as lume goes. Beautiful watch. I love the Fume, the red Fume dial. Again, going back to that San Martin, the reason I got the San Martin is I think it reminded me of the Wise at Damascus, the AD8. I mean, it's just beautiful looking watch. So there's my top watch of all time. It's been that way for a couple of years. Display case back on here, but I just, and what is it, the 904 steel, high polished steel. So I don't wear it very often because it's kind of scratch ready, like it's a softer steel. So I just wear this for dressier occasions, but very low profile. Look at the profile of that dive. It's a dive watch, 200 meters of water resistance. Fantastic. Beautiful. All right, that wraps that up. Now, last but not least, I got a couple of things. I'll do the pens. Where'd my other pen go? My Lamy. Did it hit the floor? It was sitting right here. Well, we'll just do this real quick. Fountain pens. I have a Lamy. This is not the Lamy, but the Lamy pen's really good. Man, I wish I knew what it was. It is a great cheap pen to get into. That's why I wanted to show it. But fountain pens for me, they really kind of slow you down when it comes to writing. You just don't write as fast as you do like a ballpoint or something like this. And you hold the pen a little differently because you can't be rolling the pen around as you're writing. It's just, I don't know. There's something about a fountain pen that I highly encourage everybody to try one. Get a Lamy. It's super cheap. This is, who makes this one? This is like a $35 pen. Lamy's, I think, are $25. It's plastic, but this has the screw down metal case on here, which is kind of a problem because with the Lamy, I can put the cap on the back and I have them together. This is loose. There's no way this doesn't stay on there. So that's one thing I'm not a huge fan of, but I do like this one. The nib on this one is truly a fine tip nib. The Lamy is not. Man, I got to find it because it's such a visual thing that you need to see. But I don't know where it went. I'm sure the dog is playing with it. All right, tactile turn. A lot of people out there have the tactile turn pen, the cross bolt pen. I like the cross bolt pen. Does a great job. I love the ink cartridge in here. This is like medium. I'm not a fan of medium ink cartridges except for this one. For some reason, I like this one. Here's the downside. I put this in my pocket and I catch it on the door jamb plate. And it has bent this clip out. And like, really? This is a heavier duty piece of steel. I could not believe it. The first time it happened, it didn't bend it out as far. It came out just a little bit. And just like a month and a half ago, I caught it again because my hip is right at the plate level for a door jamb. And it bent it out even further. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So I gotta take this apart. You take this cap off and you take the clip off and you can bend it back. But really, this is a brass. So this is also oxidized. You can see in here what the actual color was when I got it. And this is what it has oxidized to, which I think is a beautiful color. I love it. So those are the pens that I use. I use this ink, and I've gone through about half of this jar. And I use refillable cartridges, and it works great. All right, Bibles. And we'll end with this. So, NIV Study Bible. I've had this Bible since the 1986. I stole it from church. Yeah, I'm not proud of it. I did it because I wanted a study Bible and I couldn't afford it. And for whatever reason, I took it. However, the study Bible is an incredible tool for those of you that are Christians or read the Bible. You have cross references in here that have little letters and they come out of the verse. So you'll be reading a verse and there might be a small lettercase E for verse 8. You go find verse 8, so 26 verse 8 down here, find letter E, Proverbs 34. So you can do a lot of this cross-referencing with this. You also get some commentary down below on some of the verses as far as a little more additional history. You'll come across maps. Let's see if I can find, I just went past one here. So you'll come across some maps every now and then, right? Give you some idea on where things are at. What I really like about this Bible, and I use this all the time, is the concordance. Now the concordance, for those of you not familiar with it, it's a subject guide. The concordance is where you look up a word that occurs, let's say blasphemy. So I look up the word blasphemy, and here's a short list, not comprehensive. This is not a comprehensive concordance, but here's a short list of where blasphemy comes up that generally people are looking for. And so that's a great cross-reference. So if I have a word in my head, you know, like, let's just say, I'm just going to pick a word that I come across here. The word holy, okay? So here's the word holy. Here's the whole list of where the word holy comes in. Now, if you want an exhaustive concordance, it's going to be even more than that, all right? You also have a subject guide, which I think is really cool in this NIV Study Bible. Subject guide has like topics of names or places or ideas. So for instance, salvation, if you look up salvation, I hope this word is in there now that I say it, but let's just find out. Where is it? Here's salvation, goes alphabetical. Salvation, here it is right here, okay? So salvation gives you a bunch of different ideas, different verses, the work of God, salvation. So that's your subject guide. You also have an index to maps. So if you're looking for a map, you can find a map. It'll tell you what page it's on, and which is also super helpful. And I think that's something to keep in mind when you're reading the Bible. Get a Bible that has maps, especially maps in the back. And that's what I have a bunch of maps back here. This is part of the study guide that shows you different things about the Bible that gives you more of a reference as to what they're talking about. I have a bunch of verses that I've written back here that kind of help me out. But generally speaking, I'm a guy who writes notes in his Bible. And where it really got heavy was right after my conversion. God got a hold of my heart. We were in the book of John. And you can see I've written all over the book of John. You know, you get into chapter 10 where things really get serious about some certain topics. And I write in here. I love this study Bible. This is a true study Bible. I just purchased the ESV. So that's NIV, New International Version. This is the ESV, English Standard Version. By the way, I also always have a pencil with me, a mechanical pencil, because I want to have a very uniform thickness to what I write. Pencil because I need to erase, I can erase. Okay? So Old Testament, New Testament, this is a new Bible. I haven't written in this hardly at all. And what I found out here, this is called the ESV, but this is the Reformation Study Bible. And R.C. Sproul is the general editor, but it's the English Standard Version. So that's the ESV, okay? But what I like about this Bible is in the back, it has all of these different, let's see if I can get to the title page for it, all the different canons, creeds, and so forth. So topical articles, apologetics. It goes through these different topics, and they're explained by experts in the field. All right. Why is the Bible the way it is? Covenant theology. Then you get back into the creeds, hermeneutics, has to do with words, interpreting Scripture with Scripture, creeds, confessions, and catechisms, Nicene Creed, Apostles' Creed, 39 articles. You've got Heidelberg. The Westminster is going to be in here as well, the Belgic, Canon of Dort, which I'm going through right now. You have all these different things here. Also, you have maps in the back, just like the other NIV Study Bible. The concordance in this Bible is not nearly as comprehensive. Matter of fact, the size of it is smaller. The scope of it is smaller. That's depressing. To me, this is more important than maybe even some of the maps or even some of the creeds or some of the articles, the topical articles. I'd get rid of those. Give me more of these cross references back here. The concordance is so important to me. I'll have a word in my head. It's like, I can't think of the right verse, but I know this word is in it. Okay. And then we're back into London Confession here. So it's a good study Bible. One thing I don't like about it is the space with which I have available to write notes is not nearly the same as the NIV Study Bible. Look at this white space I have on the side. White space on the side, not nearly as much. Okay, and it's also single column versus double column. So sometimes there's not a lot of cross references. I'll put notes in the middle. Okay, and that's where the NIV Study Bible shines, I think, is being able to write some notes to myself in there. There's more space for that. Commentary, though, is pretty good. It's ESV. It's Reform-based. The NIV Bible is not Reform-based. So if you are of the mindset of less scriptural authority and more opinion, NIV has that slant to it. Not always. They updated the NIV, oh man, like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. This version is the early 80s version. And it's a little bit more true to the Greek and the Aramaic and the Hebrew. When we talk about translations, they always go back to the Greek, the Hebrew, and the Aramaic. Okay, it's not like the phone game where it's, one writer to the next writer to the next writer, and then all of a sudden it makes it into the Bible. No, they go back to these original manuscripts. The ESV is less of a summary of how things are said, not summary, but less of a paraphrase. NIV is a little bit more paraphrase oriented. ESV is more direct translation oriented, back to the original Greek, original Hebrew, original Aramaic. Okay, so that's why this version, the ESV version, the King James are typically used, NKG, New King James, are typically used in study. So when you get into that, you get into the study, the real meat of Scripture. And that's something to really consider. What I also like about this version is the amount of introduction they give to the chapters. So this is the introduction to the New Testament, called the intertestamental or intertestamental period, okay, which is between Micah and Matthew, or Malachi and Matthew. So the New Testament gives you some of the reasons for what was going on, the history, and then it gets into Matthew. Now this is the introduction written by the authors, the editors for this Bible, which is really, really good. So I appreciate that. So that's thumbs up on that. Gives you an outline of the content, and then you get right into Scripture. Some people like the single column look. I think I'm actually a 2-column guy. I'd love to hear if people are 2-column or 1-column. I think I'm a 2-column guy. I have a hard time sometimes going full sentence and then going back and finding where I left off, because the typeset is a little bit smaller. It takes a little bit of getting used to, okay? And I'm still getting used to this. I've only had this Bible for a month and a half. Still getting used to it. But I do love the resources in here. Fantastic commentaries down below. I trust these. These are Reformed theology. Reformed theology is just the Bible. That's it. You start getting into these other philosophies and theologies out there, like the Arminian philosophy or theology, and it's just people start to insert their opinion. It's like, sorry, the Bible doesn't care about your opinion. And that's the way it should be. So ESV, NIV, 2 different translations. Now, if you look at these Bibles, these are massive Bibles. These are huge, okay? So as far as travel goes, not travel friendly, which is why I purchased a much thinner version. Let me pull up the NIV study Bible I have here. Here's the NIV study, and this is a thin line version. Again, you see that I have the pencil here. Okay, there's the thickness. Study Bible has all the commentary, the maps, concordance, and all that other stuff in there. This one does not. It has some maps. So there's some maps in the back, which is helpful. Okay. It does have a little bit of a concordance, small. It's about as big as the ESV Reformed Study Bible. So it's very brief. Okay. But no commentary, just cross references. Instead of a center column or an inside column, it's just at the bottom and just cross references. There's no commentary in here, which is why it also takes up less space. I love this for the size and the compactness. This is also New King James. The leather on here, this is a premium Bible. I paid some higher money for this one. Not hugely expensive, but you can tell the difference. So if you get a premium Bible, you're going to tell the difference. It lays flat, very easy to read. The paper in here is high quality paper. The leather, very supple leather, and you get the three ribbons down here for marking things off. But very easy to read. The text in here was based off of. They actually explain where the text came from. One of these pages, it might be in the back of the Bible, but the text, they actually, in a lot of these Bibles, they will tell you what kind of text it is, what size, the kind of paper that they're using, the spacing, all of that. And they will tell you that in the Bible here. Let's see, I think, concordance, it's around here somewhere. I think it's on this page right here. There it is. A note regarding the text or regarding the type. So the Thomas Nelson, they go through and they explain why they chose the typeset that they used. And I'll have to say, it's a very easy Bible to read. So these are the three Bibles that I have. And then you might ask yourself, why do you have three of them? I'm not a digital guy. I'm a, switch this over. I am a old-fashioned, give me the book kind of guy. So I choose to have these guys with me. And when I flew out to this place where I was working for a few days, I brought all three of these with me. I have so many notes. I have 40 years of notes in my NIV study Bible. I have a hard time separating myself from all of that knowledge and all those reminders. I love the ESV, the Reformed Study Bible by R.C. Sproul as the chief editor. There's so much good information in here. In the New King James Version, it's a great translation. But look, it's not that big of a Bible, so why not bring that one too? So I end up bringing all three of them when I travel. And if I drive, I for sure bring it. For sure bringing it. So anyway, there you go. There's my 2 hours and 13-minute live episode. I know it's long. Got you through all the watches, Swiss Army knives. Didn't talk about flashlights. Other than the Keychain flashlights, I have a whole series of flashlights over here I did not get to. But put the comments down below what you think of this. Any comments on any of the watches, the Bibles, the Swiss Army knives, you just put them in the comments. I'll be sure to reply back. Sorry for the long interlude between episodes here. I've been gone literally out of the house for about 3, almost 4 weeks, and other things going on in my life. I keep saying that, but it's serious. So for those of you that are praying folks out there, Christian folks, please pray for myself, family, my wife, going through some tough times. And prayer is helpful, and it's helpful for all of us. We all need the prayer. We all need God in our life. We all need the change. And he's the solution. It's not me. That's definitely for sure. So appreciate it. My name's Tim. It's been another Real Ideal Gear Review. We'll catch you guys next time.